And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our 21st unit in social studies. Today we're going to be looking at trade in the district, and I'm so glad and happy to have you on this session. I thank everybody who has been participating up to this point. Thank you so much. Your participation means a lot to us, the teachers, and as much as we are still at home, we know that this is one way to get in touch with you guys, and we are so happy whenever we see your feedback, whenever you present your work and you have finished. It makes our hearts warm and happy to know that you are actually in contact with us. So today we are going to be looking at trade in the district, and a few things here and there that we're going to touch on. So we'll start with what is trade, of course, and we've been seeing this quite a lot, that some of you already know about it: the buying and selling of goods, the exchange of what we have for what we do not have. All that is trade. Now, what are the things we trade in? There are those things that we can see, there are those things that we cannot see. What we can see are goods, and what we cannot see but were still given are the services. For example, what I have here is a flash drive, but what it can give me is a service, because there are files that I cannot just touch. I just need to, they are within. There are files in the flash, but you cannot see. So you get a flash so that it can give you a service. You come to school so that you can get a service. Education, you just see a teacher talking, and at the end of the day, you go home smarter than when you came before, and that's just another service. When you go to the market to buy food, that's a good, something you're taking on because you can see it. When your mother goes to Dubai for shopping to put back in the shop, then she goes to buy goods. But how does she get there? She uses a service, the aeroplane moving, but you cannot touch the transport. You know you're using transport, but you cannot touch it. It's just a service being offered to you. Okay. Another thing is about our ancestors. Like we said, most of the things started with our ancestors, and so we drift a little bit back in the traditional trade, because whatever was done with the ancestors is traditional. It's where we have stemmed from to come to what we have in the modern times. And as we had already talked about this, we actually saw that our ancestors were dealing in barter trade. That's right. If you said it with me, that's very nice. And we already saw what they would exchange for what they don't have, buy the things that they did have, and get what they had, not using money. As a matter of fact, barter trade, one could say, is a trade that did not use money, but just exchange of item for item. So what are the things that these people exchanged? And I'm not going to spend a lot of time here because we already looked at them in our previous lessons, but here we want to emphasize, because this is a lesson on its own. We can see the domestic animals, of course, and particularly of interest is the Rwandan cow, the African goat, the African rooster, the sheep, the different types of sheep. But then this one specifically is so common in Africa and I think some Asian parts. Then we have the pigs and then the turkeys. So these were some of the animals that these people exchanged. And then this is so common to everybody. Food, as we said, they also exchanged food. So many could have been here, but so many already gave them to me, so I just selected a few. Matoke, Irish potatoes, sweet potatoes, bijumba, and oburo, the millet that the young babies sometimes really enjoy, especially when you add in some milk. So we want now to head over to trade in our district today, because much of the traditional part, I believe that we have gotten into the system of understanding how it started. Now in today's trade, we have different examples, and as we can see some of these things, we can already tell how the development has been so rapid. And some of these items, I just mentioned them here so that probably you can also think on your own. But some of them are just right there with you, like electronics around your house, like the furniture around your house. When you compare it with the stool that we had already seen the other time, you can already tell. I wonder if you could be given a stool to sit on as you're watching TV. Wonder how you'd feel about it. Huh? The motor vehicles, the motors, all these, we just used our cows and our heads. Those who are lucky, they had donkeys, they had horses. Those who had even the luckiest time to go to school, they just used banana fiber. And these banana leaves. That's why they used to write, because with a banana leaf you could easily scribble something and it could stay there for some time. But then the banana leaf could also dry up, and as you can see, that one led to new inventions. And today we have books, and now you're even studying on the laptop. You'll be able to pause and say, oh, instead of saying, teacher, I didn't understand, or I didn't get it very well, you just rewind this and try and get it so well. And all these have been because there has been sharing of ideas, and therefore some of the ideas turned into big businesses, which evolved into trade. So what are the main differences between traditional trade and modern trade? So the main differences between traditional trade and modern trade, we'll be looking at how the goods were handled, and what kind of about the transport, then advertising, and then marketplaces. So about the goods, you can see that it was mainly food and the crafts, while today we have the manufactured goods, and then the transport. Things were carried on our heads, while rather today we use motorcycles, trucks, bicycles, and the rest, and passenger vehicles as well. There was no advertising. You just had to become famous because of the good work you were doing around the area, the community. That was enough advertisement. However, today we can see advertisements are done on radio, on TV, and currently some people also use newspapers and billboards. Billboards are those big TV-like banners that we see in town that have some motion picture on them, and they are advertising specific brands of things. Those are what we call banners. And as we said, someone actually asked me in the previous lesson that what kind of marketplace did they have if they were not having permanent places. I'll give you one example. During the times I used to go to the village, there was a specific day when specific items were being sold, and so there were some specific spots put in place. So whenever you wanted something, you would know the day to go and get that thing. It was just one day in a week. Once that day goes, you have to wait the following week. If it is a Tuesday, you miss to buy something you wanted on a Tuesday, you'd wait Tuesday next week to go and buy that particular item you are looking for. But as of today, we don't need to explain on that. Probably most of our parents have shops, petrol stations, bookshops, markets, places, shops, and others have supermarkets, and others are bank managers dealing with the money that has to move around us and make our lives better. So we ask ourselves, so today we have marketplaces which are designated for trade to take place. Because as we can see, there are these places where buyers and sellers meet and trade is carried out. Because trade is just about two things: go to the seller and buy from them. As you are buying, the seller is selling. So how important are those marketplaces? Very simple. It is where trade is carried out. Without them, trade is not possible today. That is why we don't see those people I was talking to you about in my younger ages that used to be on the road moving or stopping under a tree to sell their things. Today you must have a specific place where you're going to sell your things from, and it must be well known. Why should it be well known? Because there's some money you need to pay to the district for carrying out your trade in that place, because the government has secured that place for you. So traders end up paying some money to the district. Traders also provide jobs, because once he's in a particular place and the work becomes a lot, he needs some people to come and help him or her in her business, and those people get jobs, and when they get jobs they are paid money, and they help their lives to move on. Number 5, markets help to develop small places into big places. This one might intrigue some of you, but I also wanted to let you know that the KCT you see today was once a taxi park. Yes, it was once a taxi park. But today, we have a tall building like the one in Dubai. And as such, so many businesses are inside that building. And that one brings us to point number 6, where everything is in order. You know, if you want bank services, this is the building I will go. There are so many banks there. If you want foodstuffs, you know where to go. Kimiroko Market, Nyamirambo Market, or Kabeza Market. You know where to go and where to find specific things. The garages. Daddy has his particular place. Mommy has his particular mechanic and where to find them. They will not go anywhere else. Why? Because the markets have helped to put businesses in order. They know where to go and where to fit in for their particular services. So boys and girls, thank you so much, and I hope you have enjoyed this lesson and learnt a lot from it. Until next time, bye-bye. Can I have my earphones?
When I have back, I try to correct. Because me, I can only teach or what is English. But as there is some, I don't know if I'm good in the methodology they're using, but if I follow how we did the first lesson, so I try to make some similar exercises on that. I think by tomorrow we will find a better position to her level, so that we will be able to increase or post faster.
And one is already here.